is different. How you doing, Trevor? Oh, no, why are you barking? He's not even here.
So this is already happening. Usually when I'm there, our main problem is the dog is afraid and doesn't stop. Now the dog's like, I sense a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, I sense a disturbance in doggy force.
Yeah.
Well, everyone listening, this is At Random, of course, with Trevor Dugan and Alex Venturpi. This time, we're doing something a little different. We're doing it. Trevor's in North Buffalo. I'm in West Seneca, and we're doing this over the phone this time. We're going to give this a shot on this episode, see how it goes, and it might be the way of the future. Who knows? With all the technology in the world, you would think this would be a way we would have thought of before. But hey, we're busy guys. We can't think of everything.
Right.
All right. So, Trevor, I mean, we've missed a couple episodes. What have you been up to in the last couple weeks?
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason why I haven't been back is because, for those that don't know, Buffalo is actually quite a hot place for film lately. The past, year or two, a lot of movies. I think there was some kind of tax credit that was put in place by the New York Film Commission, but a lot of movies coming in here. The movie that just came out, Marshall, about Thurgood Marshall, the first Black Supreme Court justice, that was filmed right in a courthouse downtown. That's out now. You see that. That's good. A couple others, but what we just wrapped yesterday was The Purge 4. It's, the series The Purge. It's about
Trust me, Trevor, when you texted me, I can't record tonight, I'm filming for The Purge, I was like, my eyes just, obviously you couldn't see, my eyes just bulged up. Me and Melanie, one of our favorite movie series is The Purge.
Really? See, I have no freaking clue.
Into it.
Okay, I did not know. Yeah, well, this one's going to be interesting. The other title for it is like Island Experiment, because of course I can't give away nearly as much as I already know, but basically what public knowledge is that I'm able to give away is this is going to be a prequel to The Purge. It's more or less how the first purge happened in America, and they elect a president, which is almost too obvious, like it's based on somebody like Trump, like a crazy make America great again type of philosophy. And then they get a bunch of volunteers to go on a specific, famous island in the country. And when that happens, people are like, you know what, this is a good idea. We're going to do this every year. And that's kind of what happens. But at the very first, I was an extra. I was just kind of a guy in the background. I wore kind of a crazy costume. I had to wear the certain famous apparel of a hate group, if you know what I'm saying. And I was just kind of in the back of a truck with a machine gun, wearing a hood, and like driving around. And
with a machine gun. Holy crap!
Yeah. Well, it was made of rubber, but from far away, it looked really real. And so there was that, and I was like, okay, cool. Like just one day, and with most movie extras, you get about 150, maybe a little bit more than that a day. I was like, okay, cool. I'll get another extra 150. Well, if you as a cameraman might know this, but other people might not. There's a thing in movies that's called the stand-in, and that's when it's as a cameraman, you probably know it can take forever to light a scene the way you need it to be lit. To figure out what kind of lens you want to find out to see if the sound is working, to block the scene. And when somebody's like an actor, like a star, or even just like a semi-star, like an actor with a decent role, it's so boring and like exhausting for them to just stand there while the directors are kind of like arguing about, all right, we need more light over here. No, turn that light off. No, maybe we should turn this light here. But it's just really boring. So they need someone who kind of looks like one of the actors to stand there, and they light it around them. And usually they need to be about the same height, have like the same kind of skin tone and the same kind of hair color, just so the light reflects on it the right way. And they were just going to use me for one day to just, be in the back of that pickup truck for this short little scene. But then all of a sudden they were like, you know what, you look like the actor Patch Duran. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of him. They were like, well, he's been on like Boardwalk Empire, a couple random things like that, but you look a lot like him. How tall are you? Oh, 5'11"? Well, he's like 6 foot. That's basically, you know what? Can you come in tomorrow? And I was like, okay, yeah, as for an extra, they're like, no, you're going to be Patch's stand-in, and this guy is one of the main characters in
Oh,
the
wow.
movie. So the whole rest of the week, I got to every scene that he was like setting up for, I was his stand-in, and so I just kind of like would stand in front of the camera, do his whatever scenes he was going to do, run through the rehearsals, run through the lines and his same actions and that sort of thing
Hmm.
until they got the camera right where they wanted it, and then we kept. He was a really nice guy. Sometimes if it's a big star, they don't want to talk to their stand-in,
Oh,
like their
you're
assistant will
below
come.
them, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah, their assistant will come over and be like, okay, you can leave so Mr. or Miss so-and-so can get into place. He would just walk over by himself and he would use like a wrestling metaphor. He'd be like, all right, tag you in, bro, and that sort of thing. He was a nice guy, so I got a full week of work out of it.
Awesome, dude.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we filmed in HSBC Tower, which, as most Buffalonians know, the
Oh my
tallest
God.
building in our skyline has been abandoned for about 8 years. So it was cool to
Were
finally see
you
what
in
the
there
inside of it looks
Were you
like.
there Thursday night?
Yes.
I saw it. I was wondering what the hell. Why are there lights on? Because I was driving to go
Oh,
pick up my sister from school. Because she goes to
oh,
Medive she's going to Medive for her master's degree. And over the
that's
phone, I
so
don't think we can
funny.
interrupt each other so much because this is going to get overboard. But anyways, I just got so excited because I was like, I noticed that, but I didn't think about it. Like, oh, because obviously I knew you were filming, but I didn't know you were filming in HSBC Tower. So, oh my
Right, yeah,
God,
we
so I
weren't,
actually
there was,
saw the light.
yeah, that is so funny that you saw where I was working, and it was a lot of overnight shoots, which was kind of exhausting, but it was good overtime for acting
Now,
that.
when
In fact, the
you
very
were
last day we started shooting at 5 right when the sun went down, and we
right.
didn't wrap until 7:30 a.m. So that was pretty
Jeez.
tiring.
And you
But
only get
we finally
$150 for that?
no, that's per day, but as just a background actor, it's about 160, but you get an
Mm-hmm.
extra 30 for being a stand-in, so it was like
Wow.
190 plus a lot of overtime, and then if they make you work overnight, there's a lot of like little boxes they check. If they make you do certain things, they bump up the price. Like if you
Right.
had to work around like
I remember your dad was
what's that?
telling me about. I said I remember your dad was telling me about like one movie he was in or show he was in. He got wet, so he got to make more money because he got wet or something like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it's like rain, you get wet work. If you have to use your own clothes, they don't give you a wardrobe. You get a little bit of pay from that. So there was a bunch of little boxes they could check off, and that made it really good. Really good experience.
So,
Plus, it was just fun.
oh yeah,
And there was
it
one.
sounds much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was one other. We weren't allowed to. I'm not sure if it's public knowledge that she's in the movie yet, so I won't say her name right now.
That's
But there
okay.
was
That's
one.
right.
Yeah, there was one Oscar-winning actress it was like a surprise she was there. In fact, all the call sheets and everything under like everybody's like, who's playing the character's called the architect, like who's playing this? It just keeps saying to be announced, and then they would say her initials, so like, all right, Mrs. MT is walking, MT is walking. Oh, okay, MT, who the hell is that? And then she walked on set, and it was like, oh my God, it's her. And she was really nice. Not as nice as the guy I stood in for. Not as nice as because Pat Durand isn't like a big star yet. But for a big star, she was cool. She was
Right.
pretty friendly. So I'll tell you when we're done recording and when the movie's coming out in July. So obviously closer to that, her name will be on the poster and that. But
Oh,
it was
obviously.
yeah, of course. But it was cool to have a big star in Buffalo, and a lot of the crew was from all over the place. There was guys from Philly and New York and Los Angeles and that, and they were pretty impressed with Buffalo. They're like, you know what? We're coming back someday. In the summer, we want to come back and like hang out. Because they were, especially the Los Angeles people, were not used to how cold it got. Because in the beginning of shooting, that was in like late October. We had a pretty nice October. And they were like, "Oh, why is everybody saying Buffalo's always cold? This is fine." And then all of a sudden November hit, and they were like, "That's why."
That's why. So have you done this? So have you been a stand-in for this movie before, or is this the first time you've been a stand-in for
uh,
Search 4?
yeah, this is the first. I've done other and there, but I've never been a stand-in. But yeah, this I was just supposed to be an extra for that one scene. They were like, we just need, a guy about your height to play the guy in a hate group. Don't worry, you're going to be wearing a hood because your face will be covered, so you don't have to explain. A screenshot won't come up of you, dressed like that, and somebody would be like, can you explain this? I was like, okay,
well,
good. I
I was in a
don't have to
movie.
take
This
off
is part of my resume.
yeah, really. So I thought, I was like, okay, good. I'll just put, one day in, get that. And then they noticed, like, you look like the actor who were just flying in to do his scenes, and they offered me that job, and that was like really nice that I got to do that. I mean, I'm been pretty tired because it's, a bunch of overnights, then I got to wake up and do my regular job still, but in the end,
And
it
this
all worked out.
podcast, I mean, ugh.
Right, yeah, and then this podcast. But it's going to be fun, especially knowing so many people from Buffalo are all, a part of it. They really put to work a lot of people, both on the production side and the background side. In Buffalo, it's going to make an extra amount of money than it is compared to the rest of the country, just because everybody's going to go to be like, oh, there's me. Oh, there's me. Oh, that's my friend in the background,
And then they're going to bring their podcasting friends to go watch it too. And podcasting friend happens to be married and love the Purge series, so she'll come
Yeah,
too.
you know what?
So
I never even knew that. As good of friends as we are, I did not know that you guys were real big Purge fans. So what would you say is your favorite Purge?
It's got to be the first.
Because there's
And the second one, it's really weird because the first one is like, it seems like a normal Purge that goes wrong. The second one is more about people who get stuck outside during the Purge. Like,
right.
They didn't do much of that in the first movie. The first movie was basically they were in this one house, and then they moved.
Right, kind of the perspective of
wrong.
like a more privileged person. It's like an upper middle class, rich family who like locks their house down.
The guys who invented the security system that
they
were using.
Exactly.
The main guy behind it. And then the second one, like I said, is more outside. And
interesting perspective. It's like, well, we saw how like rich people can deal with it. It's still risky, but not that bad. Now imagine being one of the poor people who does not have like a shelter to go, and they have to be in the thick of the fight.
Right, and one of the themes of the movie is like the reason people think the Purge happens is to get rid of people who aren't middle class, like they're poor. So it's like, oh, they're useless to society. So this will help, like, get rid of them.
Oh, okay.
Legal. So it's like one of those things. And then the third one is more of a twist on Trump-ish. Like, it just kind of came out like right around when, I believe it came around
during last
right
year's election.
Right around that. And it's like, make this great again or something like that. And it's like, it was so a play on Trump, and I think that's why it was so popular. And it's I can't think of the actress's name, but it's so funny to see her in this kind of movie. The main woman who's running for president that they're trying to kill, so she doesn't, because she wants to get rid of the Purge, is her big selling point, her big election.
Oh, okay. So it's I realize it's called Purge election year. So basically, it's like a big campaign issue is to end it type of thing.
Right. Because it's an election going on, and there's the guy who's been in power or he's with the party that is in favor of having the Purge. So it's like there's that guy, and then there's this other candidate who's like main focus, her main thing is like, I'm getting rid of the Purge. It doesn't do anything anymore, or it's barbaric. Because when she was younger, her character, when she was younger, her parents, and I believe it was her parents and maybe her brother. I can't remember, but they were killed during the Purge, and she was left alone because of the Purge.
Oh,
people came in and killed her family. So that's like why she's like, I'm getting rid of it. It's ridiculous. It's barbaric and all that kind of stuff. And then throughout the movie, like, I don't want to be a spoiler, but throughout the movie, like, it's continued attempts to try and kill her, because if she's dead, then obviously she can't win the election.
Okay. There's nobody to try to do that. Okay.
Exactly, right. So that's the basis of it. So I gotta say the first one is definitely more, like, obviously it's like the introduction to the whole idea of it. And it's interesting.
Right, yeah. I guess they probably didn't even know it was going to be like a big franchise, but people were just curious. It was just such an interesting concept. At first it was like, okay, it's going to be kind of a horror movie. What if this happened and Ethan Hawke and his family, have to survive? And all of a sudden people were like, yeah, but like this is happening in the whole country. What's going to happen for like in the like in not in like a rich suburb in like a city where everybody's like crammed together? What's going to happen?
Right.
How does the government handle this as their opposition? And so then probably now for this fourth one that was just wrapped yesterday in Buffalo, the main theme is basically how did this start? How the heck did a country come up with this idea? And that's what this Purge movie, the one that we just filmed, is all about. And it was fun, put a lot of great Buffalonians to work. So that's great that it's one of your guys' favorite things. So is that something you thought about as a big fan? Is it prequel something you would definitely have wanted to see?
Well, yeah, because I mean, the first movie, it basically just comes in and says, "Oh, here's the Purge." Like, there's really no intro to like, "Oh, this is how it came to be." It was just more of a lot of videos showing what happens during the Purge. And by the way, one of the downfalls of it, which Melanie hates when I bring up, but that's always my thought, is like, why is murder the only crime that's focused on in any of these movies? Like, if it were me, I'd be robbing banks. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
yeah, exactly. I
I'd be
bet
doing
there'd
stuff.
probably be a lot of like more looting and type of thing before murder. In fact, you'd think people would kind of get together and be like, all right, let's not kill each other. Let's just stock up on some really cool stuff that we can't be punished for. So you just go out and like have a truce and like, let's just loot everything. So by the end of this 12 hours, we all have, nice things in our houses and not
Right,
screw with each
or
other.
white collar crime, like stuff. And then
Okay, yeah.
you do it on that night, and then you can't be prosecuted for it after the Purge is over. And
Right,
like
yeah. If you
everything,
have like secret funds anywhere, all of a sudden those fund you don't have to money launder it. You can just put all those secret funds in one account, and then after the purge, it's like, where'd this money come from? I don't gotta tell you, that happened on the purge night.
yeah, I did it on the Purge night. Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, crime, and then their theory is like, oh, if you make crime legal for one night, crime will go down, joblessness will go down, and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, I don't know, you really can't. I mean, what? Just because murder, like I said, the main focus of all the movies is murder is legal. Like, that's it. Like, there's no, oh, all crimes are legal, including murder. Like, they only focus on that one crime throughout any of these movies. When it's like there's other crimes that could be going on. You know what I mean? And it's like, you think, oh, not everyone will go, oh, I got to go kill the person I hate. It's like, yeah, okay.
Right.
You know?
I guess it kind of banks on the fact that they think everybody deep down has a secret like fantasy of murder. Everybody wants to know what it feels like to kill another person, and I don't know if as
Right.
many people have that fantasy as they think. But that's
Right,
kind of what
yeah.
it banks on. Is that, and the whole concept also is if people just had one night a year to get that out of their system, they won't have this pent up urge and anger and rage and stuff, and so they'll be less likely to be violent. And if they can steal nice things and money and stuff that night, then they won't steal it in the rest of the year, something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know if
And
that's the theory of the movie. I don't know if there's any real
I
credence
don't
to
think that
that
would
theory, but
ever happen.
right. But in some of the scenes I was filming for this prequel here, that a big part of it is like they got psychologists in to analyze it and kind of justify it, and that's how it gets justified.
hmm So let's see. You were in The Purge, which is awesome. I cannot wait to see it.
Right.
What did you say the name of it was?
Island Experiment. Right now on IMDb, it's called Purge the Island, coming 2018. But yeah, but the way we kept referring to it, in fact, most people weren't even calling it The Purge, and I think that was partly because if somebody like wanted to walk onto the set, if they just saw the word Island Experiment, they'd be like, well, I don't know what the hell this movie is. I'm not going to try to stalk the set. But if they saw The Purge on it, they might go, ooh, I need to sneak into this. They just have more of an urge to purge.
Right.
Same with why one of the star actresses who we had filming with us, nobody was allowed to you only had to say her name over the walkie-talkie, and you had to write her name as either her character's name or TB, to be determined, and that sort of thing, just so if those leaked anywhere, if anybody was listening on a radio and they just happened, wait, she's in Buffalo, we gotta go find out where she is.
Right.
She is a very pretty woman too. It was nice to. It was cool to work with. Yeah.
Like that doesn't describe half the actresses I know and could.
Right. Yeah. It's not like you can narrow it down, nor would I want you to.
Oh, she's a pretty woman. Well, that
on
takes
the air,
away
but...
too. Okay.
Yeah. There's two that might not be able to be described that way.
Right.
But it's
so
nice, and they
you,
give you free food.
Oh, of course.
You know the
they're
the
keeping
meals
you
were
from
pretty
5
good.
to 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, they better.
Yeah.
Where'd they get it from?
And in fact, usually it's like it's catered, and it's just like you can have like some chicken or some like salmon for vegetarians and some salad. It's like a decent meal, but for the very last day, more like Friday or Thursday night, Friday morning, that overnight shoot, they called it the Last Supper, and so they went all out and they got us like lobster and lamb chops. And first,
nice.
when I saw the poster that said like the Last Supper, today's menu, lobster and lamb chops, I was like, oh, very funny. But then I saw them like
you guys
actually
are
take
hilarious.
I was like, very funny. Yeah, we're going to be here all night. So you're pretending to give us luxurious food like that. Then it was like in a movie where like the chef like takes the silver tray, like cover off the platter, like ching, and all of a sudden I looked and we were like, wait, there really is lobster. Oh my God.
Lobsters.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was nice. And especially being in
catering or?
actually they're from Pittsburgh, which I wasn't sure why they got people from there, but they film a lot more movies in Pittsburgh, so maybe they just wanted to make sure there was a team that was used to a movie, having to feed this many people, because there were a ton of extras used.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, there was one point where they were kind of short on extras, and it was near where you work, and I almost called you. I was like, hey, after work, do you want to come down and be an extra?
I am literally
this is
downtown.
Before, yeah, exactly. This is before I even knew
know.
you were a big fan. But then they were like, they have to be here by 3. And I was like, damn, he probably gets out at 5. But they needed people on the steps of City Hall. Or when do you get out?
I get out at 5, so yeah, I wouldn't be able to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. I thought, damn, he gets out at 5. He won't be able to do it. But that would have been cool. But they would have had you on the steps of City Hall. Like, half on one side, it was people who were pro-purge. One side, people who were anti-purge. And the scene started with just a peaceful protest. Then it got kind of rowdy. Then all of a sudden, like, a big fight breaks out. So that would have been fun to see you,
as long as you're on the other side
screen.
and me and you were the guys who end up fighting each other, yeah, we're good. I'm not trusting anybody I don't know who wouldn't punch me in the face and break something. It's like, I'm not an extra. I've never been an extra in a movie. My first time I'm an extra, I get punched and broken a jaw or something like that. And it's like, oh, I thought this was real fighting. And I was like, no, you idiot.
Right, yeah,
let's
that's what
just say first score might not come out as quickly as possible. It's like, look,
right.
my ass is
another one of my friends who I knew he was off on. That was on Monday. I know he was off most Mondays. He was I got him the job, and he was kind of like it was cool. I did not know what to expect, especially when they were like, all right, now you're actually like fighting each other, hitting each other with your signs and stuff. He was like, all right, who's crazy enough to go all out and who actually realizes this is a movie?
Hey, you know
that would have been fun. If we were on opposite sides, though, we would have put on a show. We would have been like Rob Ray and Ty Domi.
Oh, yeah.
As
long as you're not breaking anything on me, I'm fine. I'll let you punch me. Don't break anything. And as long as I have the same respect that I would give you, it's like, yeah, I'll go all out. Me and you would probably be the fight on the movie or something like that. Like,
right, yeah, the camera would be like, oh, get a close-up on these two weirdos.
Like, he's actually bleeding, and his nose is
Yeah.
actually pointed to the left. Get him. That's great makeup. You
oh, my God.
I don't even care about the bird. I just wanted free McDonald's. I get a line. You show up and I get a line in a movie. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you could pay that. If you get a line, you get paid more, so that bump up your paycheck that way.
Well, it's kind of funny that you got the stand-in part, because it reminded me of back when we were in high school and we were doing Beauty and the Beast, and that one random night, Father Mark Skura, I think it's Skura, right? Is that his name? I don't know. But anyways, it was the director of the musical, came up to you. Because we were switching rides back and forth because our parents were like, we're both not coming to pick both of you up. You might as well just work on it.
Right, yeah, you guys, we live in the same neighborhood. That's a big waste to have both of you get separate rides when we live like in the same zip code.
And we were standing there waiting, and the director comes up to you and says, "How tall?" Like basically the same thing you just described.
Yeah, kind of. I was like, wow, my like very average height is got me a couple of roles.
Yeah.
In my
Well,
career.
this one was like I said, this one's a little less noticeable. Actually, it's more because everyone knows who you are. But like, you were basically the Beast stand-in when he transforms, because you were before that, because you were in the fight with Gaston, right? Isn't that what you
Right,
said?
yeah, I like to say I was his stunt double because I did the fight scene while he's getting transformed back to a human. I did his fight scene and his death scene. So both were very dramatic scenes. It was pretty nice.
Right. And then basically you went through the floorboard, not to destroy Beauty and the Beast musicals for everybody, but you went through the floorboard.
Yeah, they put a bunch of smoke up there, and then I dropped through a floorboard, and then the real actor popped out. So that was
right. Mike
that was
Bartel.
fun. Yeah, I wonder what he's doing. I know he was a smart kid and he wanted to study law. He definitely had that lawyer personality. So I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you never hope bad things for anybody. I just know that
of course.
Because that was our senior year and he was a junior, and he was obviously the main role. Like he was Beast in Beauty and the Beast. If you're in the title, you're really big. And then I don't even know if he wasn't in the musical or if he wasn't that big of a role, because I don't remember seeing him when I went back and watched it. I think can't remember what show they did the next year, but all I know is that one guy, I won't say his name because it was an embarrassing situation, but one guy was supposed to be the lead, but he got kicked off the musical like 4 weeks before the show started. Yeah. I mean, I think we could probably figure out who that was, but we won't say because obviously it's kind of mean. But like,
yeah,
he got
funny.
he was the lead and he got kicked off, and someone else had to be the lead. And it was just like, obviously it wasn't Barcel because obviously not. It was someone else, but like I don't remember if he was even in the musical the next year. So it was kind of funny how he went from the main role in the musical the year before to like either not being in the musical or not as big a role,
or just taking a really minor role. But yeah, I mean it happens. Sometimes it's just it's the role you're right for. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the star every time.
Right, because he had a deeper voice, which obviously goes well for Beast, because obviously, you're a big Beast.
Right, yeah,
but
in a musical it's even more particular, because you could have the right acting chops and the right look for a role, but the voice is still the most important thing that you got to fit to be the character.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I mean, and everyone was telling me like, oh, you could be what's his name, LeFou? Is that the little guy?
Oh yeah, the little
I don't
goofy
have a
guy.
high voice. I have a low one. I have
right. He needed to be have the high voice to sing the like, gosh, it disturbs me to see you guess that's
exactly.
In fact, did you see the live action version of it?
I love that. It
was good. Especially like Josh Gad is one of my favorite, up and coming actors, and he played LeFou, and he was like the best part. Josh Gad was excellent.
Right, and isn't he from around here? Or am I construing someone?
No, he's not. He's the movie that's in theaters now, though. Marshall. He spent a long time in Buffalo to film that. Yeah, because he played the main lawyer. Yeah, so he played the main lawyer for that, and that was pretty good
Olaf,
performance. Yeah, exactly. Olaf the Snowman, and before that, his real big break in acting on Broadway, he played the funniest role in the South Park guys musical Book of Mormon. He played Elder Cunningham, the goofy Mormon. So he's kind of typecast as like the bumbling, like chubby guy, but he's making a hell of a career out of it. And he loved Buffalo. He had a lot of great things to say.
Right, and it's like, everyone says, getting typecast is a terrible thing, but it's like, hey, if you keep getting roles with that typecast.
Yeah, if you're working, man. Yeah, exactly. As long as you're getting the work, that's pretty awesome.
Right, because the one guy that always is the most famous typecast guy, in my opinion, is Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, Fresh Prince? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like his brother, the little
Yep.
I think his name
his nerdy cousin. Yeah, he's like the exact opposite of Will. He's like
super. Right, because Will Smith.
Yeah. Super square, straight edge kind of nerdy guy. Yeah.
Right, because everyone saw him as that, but he wasn't able to continue doing that role forever because like everyone like it just didn't work out. So it's like everyone
Mhm.
was saying, "Oh, once you get typecast, your career's almost over." It's like, well, not necessarily, but it always depends on what's out there too. Like, I mean, it's just if they're looking for that type of person, and then that's who you're perfect for. But what they don't want, I assume, I'm not a huge movie like extraordinaire or expertise, but like I'm assuming that they don't want people to think, oh, that's Carlton from Fresh Prince. This is the character he's going to play, and then give you no chance when you're not playing that character. So it's like they're like, oh, I hate this movie because that guy is not who he's supposed to be. Like Jim Carrey is
Right.
one of our favorite. Jim Carrey's one of our favorite actors, I assume. I mean, he's one
Right,
of
and
mine.
he's
I know.
got but he's got range. Like people know who he is, but he has kind of like little trademark style, like just being able to go totally outrageous, outlandish type. But he's never typecast as just one character. People know that he likes to just
Right.
play characters that have outbursts. But then once in a while he'll
Right.
change it up and in like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Number 23 and that sort of thing, he plays like really serious roles.
Right. So, I mean, and with the lack of good movies out nowadays, it's like, thank God, like, I have something to look forward to next July.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah, good. Well, that's so funny. I had no idea you were that into the Purge, so that's gonna
well,
be cool to
it's
see it.
funny.
And my
Right.
dad's in it. He played during when this new like president person is getting um on a campaign rally and that my dad plays a Secret Service guy. So in the background he's there like with the classic rubber like earpiece and he's
Right.
got like his finger on the earpiece just looking around. So my dad's got a cool little scene just as the Secret Service guy.
Now, because obviously your dad's doing this longer than you have, obviously,
Mhm.
like, is he more prone to get roles, or is it just specifically based on what those people are looking for? Like, if they're looking for a
Yeah,
26-year-old redhead, they're going to want you, not your dad, obviously.
right. Yeah, it's mostly what they're looking for, but because my dad has a lot more experience, a lot more like credits in the acting union, SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, because he has a lot more credits than that, they know he's reliable. They know they can trust him to really fulfill the role. So a lot of times for even just people who need one line or one or two lines, they'll be like, just give me all the SAG actors, whatever SAG actor has the most credits that we trust, we know that they're good if they have all these
They're
credits.
good,
So
right?
they'll let them audition first. And in fact, when you see Marshall, you'll see Josh Gad in a great role, but also my dad is in that, and he's got a lot of lines in that. He plays a reporter, and on the steps of City Hall, while Josh Gad and Chadwick Boseman, who plays the title character, Thurgood Marshall, they're running up the steps. My dad is the reporter who keeps pestering him, like, "Hey, do you care to comment on this? What's the word on the street? What blah blah blah," like that. And then they basically tell him to shut up. They're like, "Get away, stop it, no more questions." So he's got some decent scenes as the reporter in
Right.
that.
So is that where you were like, okay, I want to do this because your dad was like, Uber does it all the time, or is it more of like
Yeah,
found it
part
on
of it,
your
it
own?
wasn't like it wasn't immediately that I was like, I'm gonna be just like Dad. For a while, it was just my dad's like hobby is being an actor. He plows snow in the daytime, and then sometimes at night he'll do a play, or sometimes we'll hear a commercial on the radio or TV, or when a movie, because movies didn't come into Buffalo very often when we were younger, but every time there was a movie, he might get one scene or one line or something. It was just something that he did. Then when I got older, I guess I realized I wasn't good at a lot of other things. Like I wasn't that great of an athlete. I wasn't that great academically or anything.
Hmm.
And I was kind of like a shy, kid, as you know, cause you knew me when I, first transferred into the school that we
Right.
became friends and that. And then my dad was like, well, you're not good at other stuff and you're kind of shy in that. You could do what I do. And he kind of got me into it that way.
Hmm.
But now it's worked out good just cause his like he spent all these years networking to finally get to this level. Now all he has to do is, by the way, here's my son. He wants to be, if you have a
You
role for
know
him, give it
someone
to him.
big, right?
So yeah, he did my networking for me kind of. It's pretty neat. It's
Right. Now he was in. Now the one thing I always remember him for, he was in that one Mighty Taco commercial where he's like, there was a Mighty Taco or Taco Bell, like it was
oh
a
yeah,
local
it's
commercial
Mighty
only, like
Taco.
obviously, but he's like he's like he has all the Mexican garb on, and he's got like a taco, or he's I don't know, like what is it? I forgot what it was, but I remember it because when we were kids, your dad made a huge deal about it, and I was laughing and like, oh my god, he does such a good job. And every time I saw it, I said, hey, that's my friend's dad. Like every time. So one thing I remember,
yeah, it was like
obviously
it's
he's
funny
probably done a lot more like higher end stuff, but this is the thing.
but
If your dad ever
yeah,
becomes
no,
like
that's
an
something
actor
he's
in
pretty
Hollywood,
proud of. It's probably his most proud thing because it's like the most front and center. He was like the star of that commercial, and basically it was Mighty Taco is getting their new barbecue beef, and they wanted to have like this cowboy western type of campaign for it. And one of my dad's favorite actors is Clint Eastwood, so they had him wear like a poncho and a cowboy hat. And there used to be they renovated it now, but there was a place in the Buffalo Science Museum where it was like this mini diorama of a desert. So the camera's panning across this diorama, and then he's leaning against it, like how cowboys did in the old western. They'd like keep their hat down, lean against the side of like a building. And then there's all these people just chilling at the museum, and they all look like, what the hell? Is there like a cowboy there? And then he lifts his hat up and he runs through the museum, and he runs down like through downtown. He runs through like the Elmwood Village, and he finally gets to a Mighty Taco, and like they're like having a stare off, like it's gonna be like draw. But my dad looks at the guy behind the counter and goes, "Go ahead, make my barbecue," instead of the classic Clint Eastwood, "Go ahead, make my day." Yeah. So, but yeah, you got really a lot of attention for that, and that was like the theme song for a while. Go ahead, make my barbecue. And my dad was like for a couple months for that summer, the summer of barbecue beef at Mighty Taco. My dad was like the mascot. He was the Clint Eastwood guy.
If they ever bring it, like if it ever comes back, and like, would they tell your dad, hey, we're doing this again, we're going to use a commercial, or would they just film another one?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it would be kind of cool because that was one of their most popular commercials. Like a lot of people thought it was really funny. So I hope they do end up using it again and like calling them back to reshoot another one or something.
Maybe do an older version of it, since it was like what, 5-10 years ago now.
Yeah, it was probably like
5
or 6 years. It was like the early 2010s, late 2000s, something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and it must be cool. And it was also in Sharknado 700 or something, like whatever movie they're on.
Oh yeah, it was Sharknado 2, the second one, as they called it. That part of that was filmed in Buffalo, and it was supposed to look like New York City. And the scene he was in, as like a trivia question, he was the only person in that movie to get eaten not by a shark, but by an alligator. Because throughout the movie, before the sharks actually hit, they keep saying, hey, there's going to be alligators in these sewers, and like, haha, no one really believes that. And then they're like, oh shoot, we need to send some maintenance people down to fix the subway. So they use the Lockport Caves as like the maintenance part of the subway tunnel. And my dad and somebody else are like trudging through the water, like gonna go fix the subway. And like the other guy's like, that's bullcrap. Or they're like, no, there's some alligators here. And my dad's like, that's bullcrap. And all of a sudden he turns around and a big old alligator comes and eats it. And he just
now, do you get
screams,
extra for being eaten? Like, is that in the paycheck somewhere? I got where's my...
Yeah, really. Yeah, because then my mom kept saying, oh, they're making a thing. Because now that there's like 8 sequels, my mom kept saying like, oh, there's that's gonna be awesome. You get to be what if you're in the third one? And he's like, hon, I got eaten. I got eaten by an alligator. She's like, wow, all these sequels, you get to be in the others. He's like, nope, I got eaten in those other ones.
I got eaten in one of them. My character,
yeah,
I might be, but my character might not.
Right, yeah. But it's kind of cool because they show that on TV so often. If you're an extra, they don't give you residuals; they just pay you for the day. But if you have like a line or something, you get like residual income. So anytime they play it on TV, you get, even if it's just a little bit, but every once in a while, Sci-Fi Channel will be like, all day we're showing the Sharknado Marathon. And anytime my dad hears about like a Sharknado Marathon, he's always like, yes, because he knows he's getting a check in the mail in a couple of weeks. Even if it's just a little bit, like a little chunk here, it'll be like residuals because we showed Sharknado. You get to
right.
see it. So
Because as an extra, no one knows you from the other person, so it doesn't really matter. Like,
Right,
the
yeah,
guy who
you
says the
couldn't really
line,
do that, but
right? Like,
yeah,
it'd be hard for an extra to say, I deserve a paycheck every time you play this. Like, I'm sure Harry
right.
Potter extras not like going up the wazoo every time they play Harry Potter Weekend. Although, if you got
Oh
a line
yeah, the
Potter,
cast of Harry
holy
Potter
crap,
probably. Yeah, the ABC Family or whatever. I think they changed their name, but it's basically I
Freeform.
still call it
Yeah.
ABC Family. Basically,
So does
they're the
Melanie.
Harry Potter channel. It's
Right.
only news when they're not playing. It's like tonight on ABC Family, we're showing something that isn't Harry Potter, and you go, oh really? Well, that's interesting.
Well, that might be.
If they said we're showing Harry Potter, it's be like, yeah, that's not news.
Yeah, not at all.
The cast of Harry Potter probably like is in so much gratitude to ABC Family because they will never go hungry again. Even if they
Right,
completely
they'll get a
retire
check.
from acting, never make another movie again, they know that they're always gonna get their residuals
Right,
from
exactly.
ABC Family.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just funny because what if you have like a line in each movie or something? It's like you'll get like 8 checks or something like that every
Right,
marathon.
yeah.
And not only do they play it one time through, I think they play it 3 times through all 8
Oh
movies.
my god.
Like I think I know exactly what you're talking about because I have cable. By the way, that's a whole nother podcast.
Oh yeah, this is the first
how
time. Yeah, you didn't grow up with cable, and now finally you've got your
I
own
did not.
place. So
Literally,
that's
Trevor,
cool.
literally the week I moved into the house, I had cable installed. I was not going any more time without it. Because my parents
Wow,
are
that's
like,
funny.
you don't need cable, you go outside, you can enjoy yourself. But I'm missing the signal. I'm missing Bills. Well, I could watch the Bills games, but it never was like great reception. So we got all that. And then like literally the first week I moved in, I got cable. But back to Harry Potter. Like every once in a while, because Melanie, like, it's called Freeform now, because you were correct.
Oh right,
Their name.
Freeform.
I don't know. I wish I knew why they switched it, but it's probably something to do with ABC logo or ABC at all. Now they're called Freeform. It's like they don't have to pay ABC for the rights to use their logo or their name, or well, I guess it'd be Disney, right? Because Disney owns ABC. But anyways, not the problem, or not the story. But yeah, every month they have a Harry Potter weekend, and it's a Hermione Granger weekend, a Ron Weasley. It's like, no, you're just playing Harry Potter again. Just say it. Don't like make it. Oh, it's a Ron Weasley weekend. We focus on Ron. It's like, no, you're just playing Harry Potter for the 900th time.
But yeah, what do you mean you focus? It's not like a show with like 100 episodes, and you're only going to play like the top like 20 episodes that focus on him. There are only 8 movies, so you're just going to show the.
They all focus on Harry Potter, so it's like.
So it's kind of funny that they try that as marketing though, just so people are tuning in. Ooh, it's going to be different this time. No, it's going to be exactly the same as every other time.
Right, because I think they show 1 through 3 on Friday night, and then Saturday and Sunday they do the whole series, like starting like super early in the morning too. Obviously, it's a long series. Like if you were to watch it.
Right, there's 8 movies. Each of them are like at least 2 hours. Some of them are a lot longer than almost 3 hours.
Yeah, the later ones are a lot longer. Yeah, so it's like
right. That's why they had to split the 7th book into 2 totally separate 2-hour movies.
Oh, that was just another avenue income, I think.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because once a couple movies started doing that, then all of a sudden every movie wanted to do that. The Hunger Games did that. The Hobbit
and the Hunger
did that.
Games was the worst because the Hunger Games, the first part of the 3rd book or the 3rd movie, was absolutely pointless. If you watch
it was really
that movie
boring
at all,
there
is nobody important dies. Nobody nothing happens of importance in that movie. So it's like you could literally not watch the first part of the movie and you would be fine by watching.
You barely missed it. Yeah, so that was probably the most obvious cash grab out of all of these. Because even people complained about The Hobbit being stretched into 3 movies, which, the plot did seem kind of stretched, but at least there was memorable action scenes and some cool, like, stuff to look at in all 3 Hobbit movies.
Right, and the fact that they split that book. I mean, have you ever seen The Hobbit book? It is tiny
Yeah,
compared to the other
yeah,
Lord of the Rings
the
books.
extra, the Lord of the Rings, like Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King, those are really long, challenging books to read. But The
Right.
Hobbit is pretty simple. It was made for like a younger audience, and it was written in like the 30s before
Yeah.
science, fantasy fiction really took off. So yeah, that's a small, skinny book that they stretched into three-hour movies. So 9 hours to adapt a little
Right.
like young adult
Exactly.
book.
And I actually read The
Damn.
Hobbit. Like it was my summer book one year. Like not for school, just
Oh,
because
cool.
I was like I had like some stuff.
Right.
It was I think it was the year before I graduated, 2012. I think the summer. Like I read the
Okay.
book, and I
Oh, right, when the
heard
movie
that
was
they were
coming out. Okay.
right exactly. And I was like, how the hell are they going to stretch this into 3 movies? Like, and that was their goal, and they said that, oh, we're going to do 3 movies. Like, how? It doesn't make sense. This book is like 200 pages long. How can you split that? That doesn't even divide evenly.
Right.
And then they did a really,
Exactly.
I
Like,
really good job with it.
yeah, and to me it was like, I wanted the opposite. Like with Lord of the Rings, I couldn't wait to see the extended versions. I was like, oh, I need to see so much more of the details of all these stories. These are great. For The Hobbit, I'm like, can you make the opposite of an extended version? Can you make like a condensed version? Like maybe
Right,
just one like 3-hour movie that just takes the best parts of all 3. Like
right,
I'll take another hour on each of the original Lord of the Rings, but I do not want to see
sure.
3 movies of just The Hobbit.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they did split it into really good parts. Like the first movie's about basically the whole like getting Bilbo to do the journey and
Right,
getting
yeah.
dwarves to respect him. Like that's 1. 2 is continuing on that, but also they get to their destination, like they get there,
Right.
and then the dragon's there. So it's like, and then the third movie
Yeah,
is
they get to the mountain and
it's
they
a,
actually meet the dragon. And then the third one is just a massive, like the battle basically takes up most of the movies. It's just one really
oh yeah,
long battle. And towards the end, it reminded me of the fight from Anchorman. Because just all these armies start showing up. All of a sudden there's like the elf army, the dwarf army, the human army, the orc army, the goblin army. It reminds me of like, Channel 5 news is here, bitches.
right.
Like, it was basically the
Well, you
Anchorman
guys have been
fight.
third place for 10 years.
Yeah. PBS is here taking a break from its budget drive. ¿Cómo estás? Spanish language news is here.
Yeah, and that
It
was
was
Ben
basically that.
Stiller. Ben
Yeah,
Stiller was
Ben Stiller,
who's
like
the
White
guy?
Goodman. Yeah, I
Dodgeball.
bet no, they were probably filming those movies at the same time, and then
Right.
Will Ferrell or somebody was like, "Hey, before you get out of your makeup, come and do one scene with us, Anchorman."
That's a funny movie. Yeah, Anchorman. They fucked up Anchorman too. I was so mad when I saw that because it was like Will Ferrell never does a sequel. This is why. Cause
Oh yeah, we saw that together because we were both, of course, everybody, especially all men in our generation, are like tremendous fans of Anchorman. Like you first knew what funny was when you saw Anchorman. If you were, grew up in the 2000s, like, and then we were so
right.
hyped up to see it. We saw like a midnight showing, I think, like the day before Christmas Eve. I'm pretty sure. So we were like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And then we saw there was some laugh out loud parts, but it's not like every
A
scene in
movie.
Anchorman was memorably really funny. Yeah.
And there's
The
like a bunch of
the
lines that anyone can pronounce and everyone can like say and everything like that. But like Anchorman 2, the only scene I can remember is when they're in the RV. And all the stuff that goes
right.
on in the RV.
Yeah, the stuff's like falling and yeah, and besides and the plot was really weird and convoluted. Like they have a son and
Yeah.
they don't they like move to like the beach or something. I don't know. It was
Well,
just weird.
they
The
get
cool thing
divorced.
about
I know that.
oh right, they get divorced and then they get back together. Oh yeah, and then he likes the one producer. And they like try to get together, but he keeps offending her because she's black, and he takes her back to like her family, and he's like keeps using all these stereotypes or something.
Yeah. He's like trying not
Yeah.
to be racist, but while at the same time being
Right,
happy.
but he's just being like really, really racist. Yeah. And
Right.
then one of the best parts of the original was that was before anybody really knew much about Steve Carell. He was just, oh, who's this guy in the movie? And he stole the show as Brick the weatherman. And then why it was so funny because nobody knew what to expect. Now it's almost like there was so much pressure to make Brick funny. They just did this really bizarre, over the top jokes for Brick where it wasn't that funny in the second one.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know. There was definitely a letdown. It's like, I guess Will Ferrell will never do sequels again because look how bad his. Well, at least that's how we thought of it. I don't know how it was received nationally or
Yeah,
like.
what most people said, even if you thought it was good, it was just such a big step below the first one. It made you disappointed, even if you did laugh a lot at it.
Right, exactly.
And plus, it came out like 10 years later. Anchorman came out when we were in 8th grade in like 2004, and then the
When it
second
was
one came
probably
out in like.
bad for us to watch it. Yeah.
Right, yeah, we definitely watched that thing when we were like way too young. We were like 12 or 13 watching the unrated version. And then they came out with the second one like in 2013 or 2014. So it's like really a 10
Why even
10
bother?
years in between
Now
a
you're
movie. Right.
right. Now you're just building on
Exactly.
nostalgia, and that's it. Which is why, like, you see Incredibles 2, or you see all these second movies where it's like they come out 10 years later, and it's like, or 50. Well, Incredibles is gonna be 15 years. They're coming out with the second one in 2018, and it was made in 2003. And like the joke is, one of the characters in the first movie like says the words, "You're too late, 15 years too late." And it's like everyone says, "Well, that's what's going on with this Incredibles 2. That should have came like a lot sooner after the first one." But now it's going like now they're just going off nostalgia. Like that is all they do. Like they're not nobody has an original story anymore. It seems like they're all based off something. Now I understand it's hard to write something from scratch, and then like I'm sure it's very difficult. Like heck, we had to write essays from scratch all the time, and it was very
Right.
difficult. So it's like I can totally understand like not having, but like there's not an original movie out there anymore. It's either sequels or it's prequels or it's I don't know what's the fourth one.
Spin-offs or boots, remakes, or they'll take something that already exists that's not a movie and like make a movie out of it. Like they'll take a video game or a board game or a book
Right.
or a comic book or something and just make a movie of that. Or even like a toy. They're almost getting ridiculous with like making board games and toys into movies, but it's making money. And I think the main reason behind that is that there's a risk in a new idea. If you make a new idea, people don't know about it. They have to find out about it. It's less
Right.
likely to automatically make money. However, if you make a movie on something people already know, they're more likely to see it because they're familiar with it. They'll see, oh, there's a movie about the board game Candyland. Well, I used to play Candyland. I'll see it. If there's a movie called
I
like,
will go see Candyland, but it better be a horror movie.
oh, that'd be kind of cool.
So the horror spin on Candyland. That'd be interesting.
Wow,
No,
imagine
I'm thinking
that. Yeah, so it's like,
Monopoly.
okay, yeah, or yeah. Well, they kind of already made that movie with the movie Wall Street, or
Oh
Wolf of
shit.
Wall Street.
Oh yeah. R-rated version movie of that. Now, speaking of board games, and maybe this might be our last topic of the day, but the 2017 Toy Hall of Fame came out last week. It was pretty random to me because I didn't even know there was a Toy Hall of Fame. But apparently there's a
Oh,
lot
right, in
Hall of
Rochester,
Fame.
right?
The three. What was that?
You're talking about like the Strong Museum in Rochester?
Right, exactly. Well, I knew there was the Strong Museum. I just didn't know there was a Toy Hall of Fame for
Right.
it. But apparently, if I remember, it was the wiffle ball and the paper airplane. I know there's a third one, but I can't think of it. But the wiffle ball and the airplane, or paper airplane, went into the Toy Hall of Fame. And I was like, one, Toy Hall of Fame, I think people are just wasting time. Just my thought. And two, paper airplane, really? It's not like it's a toy that was made and no one else can make it unless you go out and buy it. Like a paper airplane, I can go literally in my kitchen right now and make a paper airplane. So it's like, does it
Right.
really deserve
So,
to be in the Toy Hall of Fame?
right, yeah, unless you're going to put that in as like a founding member. Like, you should have put that in like the very first class,
Which I
but
don't even
not
know when
like,
the first class was.
right, yeah,
And
I'm
I
not
didn't even
really
know this
clear on that.
existed.
Yeah, because the Strong Museum is pretty cool, but yeah, it's like the bottom floors are all like cool interactive, like living, playing things, like the set of Sesame
Right.
Street and like that kind of stuff. Really fun museum. If you're ever in Rochester, for those listening, check out even if you don't have kids or you don't have kids with you or something, still fun
Mm-hmm.
to hang out at. It's so cool. Cool place to
Oh yeah,
take a date, I guess.
me and Melanie, actually, it's funny. She lived in Rochester for 2 years, but we went and saw the Strong Museum while she was in Buffalo, or while she was at Medai. So it's kind of funny that we did it that way. But, yeah, we went to it, I think it was 2 years ago. And there's two really cool things I found about it. One was, there was a whole section for Monopoly, like a whole section of like all the different Monopoly versions, the history of Monopoly, how it came to be, the fact that the first board was like a piece of parchment paper, like it wasn't even a board, and they actually had it in like the middle of the room was like the very first Monopoly board. And I was like, and it was just really cool because I love playing Monopoly, although I like playing the version that's like there's no money, it's like electric and you have cards now. Like I like that version because there's no cash money anymore. But like
Oh,
and it's
that's
just easier
interesting.
to and it's easier to do. And then the second part was they had an arcade from like the 80s and 90s. Like all the games that we used to play. Remember Spinner's hockey rink when after school we would go skate?
Oh, right. It was
You
like a
might
roller rink in like arcade type thing.
Right, yeah, like games from like that, like NFL Blitz was in there. That's kind of funny. That was my favorite game
Oh.
growing up. Was that they had like they had like an arcade full of games of the like arcade games of history. Like they had a section for like the very first arcade games, and then they go all the way to ones that are in like arcades now, or like like I don't even know if there are arcades really anymore, but like the arcades. So like that was really cool. Unfortunately, it cost money. I was kind of like hoping it'd just be like a free, just keep playing until, because this is the history. It's not really to make money. But of course it was, to make money. But, but yeah, I think those are the two cool things I remember about the, Strong Museum. But I don't remember ever seeing a Toy Hall of Fame. Like maybe I did, but I just didn't like put two and two together. But yeah, the thing came out last week was like Toy Hall of Fame, new finalists. I'm like, wait, what? There's a Toy Hall of Fame? And I kept
Right.
thinking, I'm like, well, what toys in my life would be in the Toy Hall of Fame? And immediately came to mind was Game Boy. But I should have researched. I don't even know if Game Boy or those kind of things even count. So I
Right.
don't even
Yeah, I
know.
think they do, but still, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's kind of a cool concept. Let's think about that for a minute. Like, if you had like a toy Hall of Fame, what like the main toys you played with? What would be on there? What would like your founding your first class be?
oh man, that's toughy. I would have to say. I mean, growing up, the Game Boy was definitely was one of my favorites. But like, if a Game Boy doesn't count, I guess like I'm actually looking at some of the entries now, and like Crayola crayons was in '98, Dominoes was in 2012,
Okay.
Easy Bake Oven was 2006, Fisher Price Little People was 2016. That was last year. GI Joe,
Oh, okay.
I didn't even think of GI Joes. Yeah, GI Joe would definitely be one I played with growing up. Uh, Legos, of course, 1998. I mean, I'm thinking 1998 might have been the first year, because there's some pretty
There's some
big
like really
names.
basic ones. Okay, cool.
And good for
Nice.
me, Game Boy's in 2009. So Game Boy is a legit toy that made the Hall of Fame in 2009? Did I
Oh,
just
there
say?
you go. There you go.
Yeah. So the toy I wanted would definitely be in there. How about you?
Yeah, I would say Legos for sure would be my main one. Legos, Game Boy, just like you said. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Legos were how I spent. You saw my basement in my childhood. There was like tables and tables of like big castles
Yeah.
and things set up and
Hey,
stuff.
ironically of Harry Potter. Like,
Yeah, of Harry
so,
Potter. Yeah, and when those, cause going back to one of our previous topics, when those things were, when ABC Family, what do they call it now?
Freeform.
Oh yeah, when Freeform does have their like weekly marathon of Harry Potter, what do you watch it, or are you kind of sick of it at this point, or are there certain ones that you watch?
Well, my favorite is the second one out of all of them.
Ah, okay. Do you have a reason why, or is it, you know?
Like the first one, I just feel like they're all like like they're actually kids. Like they're voiced
Right,
as
they're so
kids.
little. Like you watch
They're
clips of the
so
first
tiny.
one, and it's like, oh my god, they're so tiny.
Right,
They're
and
like
I
in
feel like in the
diapers,
second
you know.
one, basically,
That's what I
well,
think.
the
I
second
pictured
one,
them like in kindergarten.
right? Yeah, they felt like they were so young, But like in the second one, I feel like it goes into a theme where it's not a kids movie anymore. Like there's
Okay.
actual
Right, because there's a lot
adult.
of death and stuff. It's not just like the bad guy at the end dies. Like a few kids like die or like get really close to death. Like throughout the
Petrified,
movie, there's
yeah.
people keep getting either killed or petrified, and that's really
Right.
scary.
Exactly. And
And then the whole
like
thing, like he's talking to the ghost lady that lives in the bathroom. A lot of things happen in like the women's bathroom in Harry Potter. They
yeah,
find the
like what the
troll in
fuck?
the women's bathroom.
Could you
That girl gets
imagine?
murdered in the women's bathroom.
Imagine 2017. That'd be all. That'd be the. Oh my God. If you think the sexual harassment claims now are bad, that was 2017. Oh my God. And oh man, I made a big wafoo yesterday. Speaking of just, and this will be the last topic for today. I know I said
Okay.
that already, so stick with me, folks. Louis C.K. was accused of, let's just say, not being super inappropriate in front of, I think 5 women accused him of it. Yes, this is yesterday.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I
it was
saw
just
that
too bad because like the past two people to really get accused were two of my biggest heroes. I love Louis doing stand up. I love Kevin Spacey as an actor, but it's really sad to see them in this light that they were really
well,
terrible people.
exactly. And he always joked about masturbating and stuff like that. And we always like, haha, real funny. But then it's also like, oh my God, he does that.
Yeah, he was just
But
kind of
before I
projecting what
found
his
out,
fetish was.
right, before I found out that it was legit 100% true, I actually defended him to Melanie. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, you were just kind of like, let's
Everyone's
wait
just,
for the truth to come out, or
well, no, I didn't even say that. I was just like, oh, come on. Now people are just totally ragging on famous people. Like, oh, I
oh, okay,
was inappropriately touched by him. I was inappropriate, and all these stories are coming out, and it just seems like everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. This is my opinion. This is somewhat my opinion, but like they're
right.
jumping on the
No, I can
bandwagon
see that
trying to.
there is a possibility of that happening, but good, at least good for him. It's respectable, not what he did, but that he didn't try to deny it. He immediately said, yes, this is all true.
Yeah, that
And
happened,
you
and
know, and really, his isn't
yeah,
as bad as a few of the people we've been hearing about, because it doesn't seem like he forced anyone to, like, he didn't forcibly touch anyone
oh,
or
he was
make anyone
just
touch him, but he would just, whip it out in front of women and, show off, if you will, to put it in
right,
a more
which isn't right, which is not right
polite way.
anyway.
Yeah, which is still not right, but it's not, it's to a lesser degree, but that still doesn't
You
make
know
it
what's
at
sad,
all
Trevor?
okay.
That we're talking like this. Like, oh, it's not as bad
Right.
as
Right,
other
we're trying
guys.
to rationalize still a terrible thing, but compared to what some other people have recently been accused of, it's like, oh.
Yeah, and it's like, and Melanie was like, oh, there's 2 sides to every story. Like she was defending the women who came out against them, and I was totally going
Hmm.
like, oh, they just want some fame. They want this yada yada yada. Well, so I go to work, and I'm at work, and during my lunch time, I go on Yahoo because I usually do. I go on Yahoo and Facebook during lunch, and I see that Louis C.K. admits that he did these things, and I immediately texted Melanie. I'm like, "You were so right. I was so wrong." Because I was like vehemently defending this guy because I was like, "This is just people." Oh, I mean, Harvey Weinstein was accused. Wow, how is it now? 2 months now, and then every day it seems like some other guy or girl is getting accused or accusing someone famous of sexually wrong actions against them, and it just seems like it is. And everyone's like, "Oh, what's the hashtag? Speak up? Is that what it is? Or get? I don't
Right.
know. It's like it's something like that, and they're all joined in on that. Just because the people who are, in my opinion, people who are accusing others of it are like not your mainstream actors or actresses at this time. Like they're people who have maybe were mainstream at one point, but like not at the moment. So my thought was they're all doing this just to get their name out there again so they can get back to where
You
they
think
used to be.
part of it is maybe a ploy to get relevance again, get people talking about it?
And I'm not saying that if it's true that I would be like,
Yeah,
oh,
not universally, but right. But
right, no,
yeah, I
no,
can
no.
see why some people might have
It
that
seems like
motivation,
right, it seems like after Harvey Weinstein, and people don't know, I believe, what, he's CBS's director or CBS's main guy. who makes all the movies and stuff like that, or a famous director. I'm not exactly sure, but like he was
Right.
accused by a lot of people, a lot of women, that he sexually abused them. And it was like
Right.
after that, it seems like a lot of famous men are now being accused of
Yeah, it kind
sexually
of opened like a
harassing women.
floodgate of people to finally admit things
Exactly.
that they were afraid to admit before. But yeah, in this shuffle, I understand what you're saying also. Like, it's good that finally people are not afraid to speak up, but at the same time,
Right.
it does make it almost dangerous, like a witch hunt in this. If there's like a big storm, you'd have to sift through, okay, there is a possibility some of this might not be real. I'm sure a lot of it is. And,
Right.
the
Well,
people who are,
until there's a story where somebody lied, and everyone's going to be telling the truth,
right, they're going
and
to pretty much,
which is right.
yeah.
I mean, until someone's proven, oh, she just said that, or until someone says, oh, I just said that to get some fame, everybody that accuses people of sexually mistreating them are going to be believed. Which, if it's all true, it's true. I'm not going to say, oh, you shouldn't have brought it up anyways because it's been forever. Why are you bringing it up now? I understand if somebody does that to you, they should be dealt with and should be punished. But it's just part of me is like, I'm getting the feeling that one day one of these people, one of these accusers, are going to not be telling the truth and saying, "Oh wow, look at all these people getting
Right. It's going to
mainstream
be really,
attention."
really hard to deflect it, right?
Exactly. And then once that one person is found out, then nobody else is going to be believed.
Right.
Or they might not be believed, but they're not going to be immediately oh my God, Harvey Weinstein's a monster. Oh my God, Kevin Spacey's a monster. Oh my God, Louis C.K.'s a monster. They're not
Right.
even talking about the person that accused them. It's all about the person who got accused. So it might also be
Yeah.
having a negative effect too in that way, because oh, you're accusing this person just because you want fame, but the person that gets talked about is the person that is accused, not the accuser. And it's
Mm.
I don't even know the names of the people who accused or who have came out against Louis C.K. I can't even tell you. I just know that, hey, Louis C.K. was accused, and obviously it turned
Right.
out true. But no one's talking about the people who actually are accusing them. So it could have.
Right. And the guy the first one who accused Spacey, he is pretty famous. He was on Rent in Broadway, and he's done a couple movies. But still, most people are just saying, they're not saying actor, Broadway actor Anthony Rapp accused him. They're just saying another actor accused him. All the attention is on the perpetrator, not the
Spacey,
victim. Yeah.
C.K. Right. And it's and this kind of brings up another idea, in the same realm of abuse, is is it? I mean, do you even know what's going on with Ezekiel Elliott in the NFL, the running back? Do you know?
Not exact. I know he's facing suspension of sorts. Is that right?
Right. Well, he is, and he actually finally did get suspended, and he's going to start serving it. But the whole narrative is back when he was at Ohio State, he was accused of physical abuse on his ex-girlfriend. Now his
Oh.
girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whatever it is, I don't know what the relationship is now, but he was acquitted, or he was found not guilty. So or the charges were dropped or whatever. So he never got charged per se, but the NFL still is suspending or still wants to suspend him for his actions. So the they came down. They said, all right, you're suspended for 6 games, and the Cowboys are fighting it mentally, they no, you can't suspend him and all that kind of stuff. But it's nobody is talking about why he got suspended. Everyone's talking about procedures and all that kind of stuff. When it's just wow, how far? This is America now. Oh, yeah, he could or could not have abused his girlfriend. He was. I mean, he was never charged with it, so you never know if it actually happened or not. But that is totally lost in the fact of, oh, was he suspended the right way or procedure-wise or any of that kind of stuff is the more important stuff, and no longer the action is the issue. You know what I mean? It's just this is 2017 America, where being abused or abusing, it just doesn't seem like the right people are getting benefit or not benefit, right? People are not getting looked at the right way. Like some people look at Ezekiel like, oh, the NFL is just taking advantage of it, or they're not treating him right and everything like that. It's like, you know why he got suspended, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know why they're
Right,
suspending
yeah.
him. No, it's like, oh, they can't suspend him. Like, who, it's like all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I don't know. Like I said, 2017 America, everybody. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about, Trevor? Or, I know it's been
No,
a
I
couple
think
weeks, so
this was a good. I think it was a successful experiment trying to do this show long distance, having a call in to do it, and it's been pretty good so far.
yeah, and we'll see how it sounds. But yeah, I think this is going to definitely be a way we're going to do it, folks. So hopefully it's going to be a little more than. Look, we did say expect these episodes randomly, so so definitely. This one was one of those random times where we were doing it a few weeks in a row where it's like, all right, every Wednesday we record, Friday the show would be up. Now it's like, oh, we record on Saturday and it'll be up on Sunday night or Monday morning. So it's like, expect them randomly, people. All righty, everybody. Well, this has been episode 4 via telephone, and I think it's a good method. I agree with Trevor on this one. And we talked about what? Purge and domestic abuse.
Yeah,
So I think
mostly the movie industry is
yeah,
basically what
exactly.
dominated this episode.
Yeah, and I think that's a good option. I think it's a good thing. Well, for
Right.
Trevor Dugan, I'm Alex Turpey. This has been At Random. In case we never said it at the beginning, because I feel like we've been talking forever. I don't even know if we said we were at night at random. But this is Trevor Dugan, Alex Turpey, At Random. Everyone, you have a good day.